important thing. Like, they've tried this. They've had unilateral Democrat political leadership for over a decade now. If they have not improved, if they are not the de facto destination for everybody to flock to because they want to live in this socialist utopia, then obviously we need more of this. It works. But if everybody's fleeing these cities and these states to go live in Tennessee, Texas, Florida, largely conservative areas, then it's a good campaign. But again, if your base is comprised of idiots that don't know any better, that don't even realize that maybe on paper it isn't actually translating to what we're seeing in person. Like, I'm not seeing the benefits of socialism. If anything, my life isn't more like Elon Musk, the trillionaire's life. My life is more like the homeless bum's life. Those people might be able to be saved, but largely it's just idiots that fundamentally don't understand things.
Greenpoint, Williamsburg, Bushwick, the People's Republic of Ridgewood, Fort Greene, East New York, Cypress Hills, Sunnyside, the People's Republic of Astoria, Long Island City, Richmond Hill, Ozen Park, Morningside, Harlem, Washington Heights, Inwood, the Bronx, Woodside, Bed-Stuy, Crown Heights, Lower Manhattan, Woodhaven, and probably more. Beer, Kawasi, and Hunt.
Hey, what is it? Stu Smith out here says, we control these areas. On tonight's DSA call, the message cleared. They're staking its claim to New York City and warning challengers it's not worth trying. We control these areas. So it's like, they know they're starting to take over the party. You have Van Jones over on CNN saying, hey, the roof's collapsing on the Democrat Party because for far too long, they represented insane people. They represented the rioters, the people that didn't mind throwing bricks to their own local Starbucks because the social media algorithm told them to. They spent too much time not serving those disenfranchised Democrat voters. Some of them drifted right, but some of them drifted far, far more left than they ever anticipated.
Well, New York City matters because the two most exciting left-wing candidates are here, AOC and Mamdani, but also this is the stronghold for the establishment. Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries. This is a battle between the establishment and this insurgency, and the roof is collapsing.
They're calling the more extreme version of their own party the insurgency. They've lost the plot.
On the Democratic Party establishment tonight. If Mamdani gets a hat trick, 3 out of 3,
he did.
This is a new era for the Democratic Party, and you can't write off New York City because this is the place where both, it's a power center for the establishment and the insurgency, and they're going head to head tonight. And right now, this is no longer a movement. This is a movement and a machine at the same time. There's just no way to sugarcoat this. If Mamdani pulls off the hat trick, it is a new era in Democratic Party politics.
And what does MSNBC or MSDNC or MS Now, whatever they call themselves, CNN? They're very left-wing, but do they start to grift to the hyper-left socialists, or do they try to stay with the more traditional Democrats? Because now within themselves, they're fracturing. Kind of like how you have MAGA conservatives and rhinos, and your pro-war, pro-vaccine type conservatives. Like, they've fractured. And now you're having populist Republicans and war Republicans breaking off, and now you're having socialists and just your traditional run-of-the-mill leech Democrats.
Well, and if you're a moderate Democrat who's on the election, who's on the ballot this November, they're all going to be asked about the positions from these other fellow Democrats.
Well, I think, from our frontline Democrats will be able to make their case for themselves, or they'll be able to do, okay, we got a lot of national security Democrats in other parts of the country, but this is a big deal tonight. And I think that, look, I don't know what you want me to say here.
This game.
This is a straight up battle between the establishment and the insurgency, and the establishment is getting its butt kicked tonight.
Yeah.
The Unstoppables Unlimited Collection. Luxury laundry beads so you can smell unstoppable.
LinkedIn can't stop what's growing in the office fridge, but we can help you grow in your career.
Chase has a need for sleep management. That's why Mom gets his meds from Chewy Farm.
So, for SpaceX, the goal is to establish a self-sustaining city on Mars. And Mars is the only viable planet for such a thing. The moon is close, but it lacks resources, and I think it's probably vulnerable to any calamity that takes out Earth. The moon is too close, and it's vulnerable to any calamity that takes out Earth. So I think we shouldn't have a moon base, but Mars Mars will be far more resilient. The difficulty of getting to Mars is what makes it resilient. But in going through these various explanations of why don't we see the aliens, where one of them is that they failed to pass these great filters, these key hurdles. And one of those hurdles is being a multi-planet species. So if you're a multi-planet species, then if something were to happen, whether that was a natural catastrophe or man-made catastrophe, at least the other planet would probably still be around. So you don't have all the eggs in one basket. And once you are sort of a two-planet species, you can obviously extend life out to the asteroid belt, to the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and ultimately to other star systems. But if you can't even get to another planet, definitely not getting to star systems. For SpaceX, the goal is to make life multiplanetary, which is, if you go to the Fermi paradox of where are the aliens, you've got these sort of great filters.
You don't care about what voters think, and you just care about partisan balance.
Still, the cost of spectrum, cost of living, that's skyrocketed.
Didn't care when cost of living has skyrocketed in Biden. Prices go up on the Trump. It's the worst thing in the world. Again, it doesn't care about the suffering of American citizens, or even Californians. They just passed as of July 1st, there's going to be an increase in gasoline tax. Talks about cost of living. Still passes that tax.
And again, if you look at the history of Earth,
The system is fundamentally broken. The federal tax code, the corporate tax code, and the inheritance tax code seem to be written for a different set of Americans. It's time
because he's talking to the people that own nothing. Not middle Americans that still have a home, not middle Americans that are trying to ascend to the next class. He's talking to bottom of the barrel, broke people that are on food stamps, that aren't working. He's like, we gotta attack the middle. Don't get angry at the billionaires out there. Get angry at the people in the middle. Because we need you to be subservient and forever on the government teat of only being able to survive with government assistance.
Economic reset, a true minimum tax. A true minimum tax on billionaires that, well, ensures the people at the very top pay at least the tax rate their own workers pay. Also, should end this tax-free lifestyle. Now, this is the gimmick that allows the ultra-wealthy.
Little weird thing you got going on there. It's like, I don't even think it's like his policies. It's just the eerie nature of who he is as a person that's going to forever hold him away from taking like the national state. He's just a weirdo.
To borrow against their stock portfolios while reporting no taxable income. They also rewrite those inheritance rules so that the largest intergenerational wealth transfer in human history.
Because we are entitled to your belongings. See how this now all shakes down to not serving you better and making your life better. It's like, no, the state needs that. Because here's the thing, so what was the other guy saying? I forget the name of the guy. Politician saying, if we just took Elon Musk's, it was Schiff, also from California. If we took Elon Musk's $1 trillion wealth and just redistributed it, we can give like, $7,000 health care for everybody. It's like, yeah, but you spend like $10 trillion a year. Annually, the government. It hasn't solved any of these issues. They're always just $1 billion away from solving all your problems. But we're not infants, we're not toddlers, we're smart enough to realize that. But again, it doesn't matter. You're not trying to cater to people with rational thought and critical thinking abilities. You're catering to harvested ballots.
Estimated by, well, be $124 trillion that will be changing hands, doesn't lock in a permanent American aristocracy of inherited wealth.
Don't you have the aristocracy of you and your family connections getting you these positions despite not accomplishing shit? What the fuck's going on here?
Time as well to return to the pre-2017 corporate tax rates, and time to close those offshore loopholes once and for all. And as AI reshapes the country, every American should own a piece of the future it builds through a national public equity fund. Trickle-down economics, it's been a nearly 50-year experiment that has failed. Record corporate profits flowed.
Yeah, well, record corporate profits. Never mind the fact that he was able to keep his restaurants open when everybody else was shuttered during the COVID lockdowns. Never mind the fact that his kids still went to private school, in-person learning, while he filled skate parks with sand. Again, this whole thing, there's guys above me that are bad. The person that's really ruining your life is sitting there in front of you. But let me just make you think about something else. Again, scumbag.
Stock buybacks and executive compensation. It's time to stop pretending otherwise. We're nearing the 250th anniversary of this country's revolution. The system the American founders built, well, was designed to prevent the concentration of power.
But it was not designed to bring in socialism and communist beliefs. But here you go citing the founding fathers and saying, you know what, the same thing they escaped, we're gonna bring that in right now.
In a few hands.
Told about the founding fathers. They were revolting over, what was the T-tax? I went to California public schools, so I forgot what the T-tax was. Something like 10%. Nothing like what we're seeing state-wise income tax and sales tax right now. They revolted over a tiny little T-tax, and you're here saying, we're going to tax your entire inheritance. We're going to raise the taxes for if you're too successful in our country. Here's your penalty for providing something for society. If only you were just a bum on the street collecting EBT cards and doing meth and fentanyl under my bridges, then I wouldn't tax you so hard. This guy's the most disgusting idiot I've ever seen.
But we've allowed that concentration to happen anyway, slowly and in plain sight over the course of decades and decades. But we can reverse it. We can reverse it together. It's time to democratize the American economy.
Democratize the economy is a new word for socialism? He thinks it's stupid.
Save our democracy.
You're saying it's a 2% T-tax, 3% T-tax? Something minuscule compared to what he's offering us right now. But there they are. But yeah, they say, Kevin O'Leary talks about how 70% of Democrats now view socialism positively, and that's a problem. The youth are idiots.
All of them, until they get the first.
What we're seeing across the world at the moment is this rise in socialism in Western markets. Almost 70% of Democrats now view socialism positively, with only 40%.
Because you're getting constantly brainwashed in public school. They were trying to brainwash me in public school, but sad to say, I don't look down on teachers, but I'm not surprised when you have a teacher, high school teacher, like the rundown school I went to. High school teacher, they would be a fan of socialism. Because obviously, and I don't mean this disparagingly, but obviously if you were a high school teacher in the schools I went to, capitalism didn't really work out for you. Probably had other aspirations in life. You weren't able to achieve them. So those who do can't, or those who do will. Those who can't teach. You're there because capitalism wasn't in your favor. So obviously you're going to be a little bit socialist. But sad to say you're a very, very malleable youth that doesn't know any better. They're probably going to, not all of them, but a lot of them are going to absorb those socialist values from your socialist teacher that isn't buying a Lamborghini anytime soon.
Roughly view capitalism favorably, and a staggering 62% of young Americans hold a favorable view of socialism as well. It's quite clear to me that
because they don't know what socialism is. It really is. Like, this is the last slide or whatever, but actually I don't have it. Do I have it? Yeah, there it is. Venezuela. Before socialism, after socialism. Again, a meme could give you better education than California public school right now, and yet we don't see this stuff. It's just indoctrination.
We're on the verge of a very different type of America. Do you agree that if things continue on this trajectory, we're heading towards a more socialist America?
No, it seems every 17 to 20 years we take a dip back into socialism, longing for what the Soviet Union had or Cuba had in its heyday, and then the outcome is always the same. It doesn't work. What I find so interesting about a cohort of 23-year-olds that I teach in business classes and engineering classes, they're all socialists, all of them, until they get their first paychecks. Then they become capitalists when they see something called tax.
Thanks for the prop, so.
And they wonder, wait a second, where'd half my salary go?
Yeah, your salary is going to pay for housing for those bums out there, or the guy that transitions surgeries for violent criminals, or just probably doesn't even happen that often, but the fact that the Democrats run on that stuff is mind-boggling. But the idea is, it's always good to think, I want to help the underserved, I want to help the underclass, but in practice it's just USAID all over again. Yeah, we're grifting, getting money to help the homeless people, but we're going to take the lion's share of that $1 trillion we want to tax you on. If you're young and not liberal, you're heartless. If you're old and not conservative, you're brainless.
What's this? And I say, that's tax. Now, if you want it to be 80% tax, you follow that trail that you had before I started teaching you. You were a socialist, and now what are you? Well, I can't pay 50% tax. No kidding.
We do though.
Well, move to Austin, move to Tennessee, move to Florida like everybody else is doing, and you'll pay 16%. I love the fact that everybody's an idealist socialist until they get their first paycheck. And that's how America works.
All right, that's the thing. It's like the whole love is love and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, you want to support other groups, you know, like marginalized communities, until you realize they're bringing in insane legislation like, oh, you know what? If you knowingly transmit a dangerous disease to a kid, that's not a felon. That's where the world is right now. But at least Rapid Response 47, this is the president's Twitter account, or supporting the president's Twitter account, reposts his Truth Social post where it says, the communists are finally making their move. I've been waiting and preparing for this for a long time. It's easy to be a communist. All you have to say is, I'll give you everything, but that means you're taking away from others that have earned it. Over thousands of years, that ideology is not worth once. The game is on. Enjoy watching President Donald J. Trump, which makes a lot of people believe, after the midterms, like, being a communist in America used to be, like, wasn't illegal before, makes people believe they're going to start going after these openly communist people. It's insane right now that we have the Democrat Party getting hijacked by extreme socialists that, if you aren't aware, the DSA, the Democrat Socialists of America, I think somewhere in their charter, I read it somewhere, they say, if you are a DSA candidate, you agree to, once you win your election, you will co-govern with the DSA party. Meaning to say, you elected Mamdani, but you also elected the party that controls him. And all these other leaders that are coming up underneath him, it's all just this hive mind of some mysterious organization that is just going to control every aspect of your life. So now the local government gets to take over your housing because it's for the people.
Hotels.com is where you go to choose from hundreds of thousands of hotels and earn rewards on every stay. It's exactly what it sounds like.
Investigation, but
and he's going to be arrested, right?
It's not how it works. If you're trying to get him in trouble because you're going to jail right now,
it doesn't matter why. If he's done something that is illegal, you're going to arrest him, right?
It would be an open investigation.
I don't know why you're trying to argue with me. If he's done something wrong, he's going to jail. Yes or no?
Well, yeah. And when people break the law, they go to jail, Samantha.
Well, he's done nothing but break the law. You guys have been out here more than once.
Maybe you guys should just separate.
I'm gonna leave his ass after this, but you know what? I should not be the one going to jail when I've had broken ribs, a busted teeth, a broken orbital socket because he busted my face. Are you kidding me? I've been sitting still. And because it was choking me and I couldn't breathe. I've been sitting still. I haven't had Don't. No, you're not. I'm gonna make this as worse as possible, and you guys are going to jail for not investigating what you're doing. Yeah, turn it on. No.
and the remains of the $3.
You can sit over there, it's fine.
It's fine, you're not buckling me in for nothing. If you touch me, I swear to God, I'm going to sue you guys. I have asked you more than once to review the cameras. You're arresting me for something I didn't do. He showed you a very little bit.
The fourth dog you'll remember was the dog that Jody Cowan was actually trying to
No!
at the time.
No!
You want additional charges, you're gonna get back here on that
Go
one?
ahead! I have done nothing. I wanted him arrested for assaulting me. I want you to look at the I want you to look at the we're not leaving until you look at the cameras and arrest me. That is how it works. I am filing a complaint. It is your duty as an officer of the law to investigate what I am telling you. And if you refuse to do so, not in the what? I'm not, then I'm refusing to put the seatbelt on right now. I said nothing wrong! Nothing! Sir, I want to talk to you. I'm not trying to escape, I'm trying to... You're going to talk to me or you're going to get a supervisor out here? Well, then get your supervisor out here. I want a corporal, I want a captain, and then I want a captain. And then I want your supervisor, and I have a right to ask for it.
As soon as we're done here.
As soon as we're done here, we're not done here until I get a supervisor. If you touch me, we're gonna have a problem. Yeah, we are gonna have some problems. No, you're not touching me. Don't touch me. I am gonna. Don't touch me. I want a supervisor. I have a right to a supervisor. I have a right to a supervisor. No, you're not. I'm not touching you. You're touching me. No. You're going to give me a supervisor. I have a right to a supervisor. I want your supervisor. I want your supervisor now. I want your supervisor.
And he told them that he had taken care of not just those $3, but
I have a right to ask for your superior. If you tase me because I asked for your superior,
contact groups that you don't hate me. In order to get some negative words, then you can run a big story. In order to put pressure to the platform,
I said nothing.
Remember, did I ask you? And this could end up in a legal suit. Did you contact Telma?
I want a supervisor.
Or did they contact you?
I want a supervisor. I want a supervisor.
So did you contact Telma?
No.
Or did Telma contact you?
Then don't touch me. If he's out
I'm asking you, who contacted who? You contact them or they contact you?
I want a supervisor. No. I'm asking for a supervisor.
I mean, Luke, you contacted them, didn't you, Luke? Luke, you contacted them, didn't you? You were running the Smith, so you contacted groups to say them. No, simple answer the question. Did you contact Stand Up to Racism and tell them? Or did they contact you? Some contact. Did you contact them or did they contact you, Luke? Simple question, mate. Did they contact you or did you contact them? And we know whether you're running the Smith campaign. A bullshit story.
I haven't done anything wrong.
You've contacted them. So you've contacted them, you've seen them on Spotify, you've contacted groups that you know hate me. In order to get some negative words, then you can run a big story in order to put pressure to the platform here for Spotify, right? Look, contacted groups that you know hate me. In order to get some negative words, then you can run a big story in order to put pressure to the platform here for Spotify, right? Look, representing the views of some groups having spoken to, you're concerned about your presence there. Can I ask you, did you speak? Can I ask you, remember you, did I ask you, and this could end up in a legal suit. Did you contact Telma? Or did they contact you to ask their opinion? I want to know. Because I will contact lawyers about this. So did you contact Telma? Or did Telma contact you, the newspaper? I've spoken to groups. I'm asking you, who contacted who? You contact them or they contact you?
Susan Collins is trying to keep it so senators can get rich playing.
I really appreciate it. Luke, you contacted them, didn't you, Luke? Luke, you contacted them, didn't you? You're running the Smith, so you've contacted groups to say them. No, simple answer to the question. Did you contact Stand Up to Racism and Telma? Or did they contact you? Some groups have been posted. Did you contact them or did they contact you, Luke? Simple question, mate. Did they contact you or did you contact them? Then we know whether you're running a smear campaign and a bullshit story. You've contacted them. So you've contacted them, you've seen them on Spotify, you've contacted groups that you know hate me in order to get some negative words, then you can run a big story in order to put pressure to deplatform me from Spotify, right? Look, contacted groups that you know hate me in order to get some negative words, then you can run a big story in order to put pressure to deplatform me from
refugees
Spotify,
that
right?
came in, they might have been here for a few months, and they went out and raped. There was a 2-year-old.
I just heard
You
this.
see that, yeah?
Oh my God.
Shocking.
You're familiar with the Punisher?
The
Marvel character, the Punisher?
Oh no.
You don't know the Punisher?
No.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh. But you know Marvel, Spider-Man. Yeah, the Punisher is he doesn't have any superpowers.
Yeah.
He's a guy whose wife and daughter were killed, so now he just massacres criminals. He's an anti-hero.
Right.
And he's actually going to be in the Spider-Man movie coming out in a month.
Yeah.
And his whole character is that after the murder of his family, he just murders villains. He we get this comic book trope of you don't kill. Batman's like, we can't kill people. Like the Punisher just didn't care. In fact, I love this, and I know there's a lot of people who are like, this is an important part of the conversation. There's a lot of people who would say this is for children. Comics don't talk. No, hold on. This is important. Are you familiar with Ghost Rider?
No.
So you gotta know your Marvel stuff, right? So Ghost Rider, he was a daredevil on a motorcycle. This is the story.
Yeah.
And he dies. He crashes, and the devil offers him a deal to serve as his legionnaire.
Yeah.
And he brings him back. So Ghost Rider's head is a flaming skull. He's got a leather jacket and a chain. He drives a motorcycle, and what he does is, evil people must pay their dues, and devil owns them. And so in the comics, he has something called the penance stare.
Right.
He looks into your eyes, and for all of the sins you've committed, your soul burns, and you feel the agony of every death you've ever committed.
Right.
And famously in the comics, when he tried to penance stare the Punisher, who's murdered thousands, he killed thousands of criminals, nothing happened because he has no remorse for anything he's done.
Right.
So there's no guilt, there's no sin. He believes he is morally justified in killing all of these people.
Yeah.
And so I bring that up just because two things. One, that story of the 2-year-old raped and murdered. I think the story of the Punisher didn't go far enough. I mean this sincerely. Like, you have a guy in I don't know what year they wrote this character. The idea was that his family is killed, so he decides he's going to start killing people. And I'm like, I think the extent to which you would see a man break if something like that happens to his child is like, it starts wars.
Yeah.
It's more than just a guy going around beating up gangbangers and shooting people. It is profoundly terrifying what the right man with the right motivations who suffers a tragedy to such an extreme degree could genocide a country. I mean,
100%.
It terrifies me.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll mention about the culture is, I bring up comic books and movies, and then there are a lot of conservatives who are like, this is stupid. But no, this is what informs us. When we grow up hearing stories from the previous generations, and there was with the character of the Punisher, he's extremely popular right now because the Marvel movies, they haven't done. Actually, I'll put it this way. I was connected. All the weird woke stuff. Marvel is the biggest thing in the world from 2008 until 2019. These movies, billions and billions and billions, and then they go woke. They try to bring in the female characters. They do the girl power stuff.
Destroys it.
Everything starts bombing. Then they make. Spider-Man's doing well, and they're trying to erase it all.
Alright.
What does well is they just put out a Punisher short film where it's literally 40 minutes of him brutally, to the extreme of gore, massacring criminals. It's literally 40 minutes of him slitting throats and shotgunning to the head, and like blood. It is insane. And I'm like, I think they finally figured out what people really want. But so here's why I think the culture is important, and we'll tie it back into everything we're seeing. Citizen vigilante.
Yeah.
This film, which is Uwe Boll, is that how you say his name? Uwe Boll. And he's like a B-movie director, and he does these silly, like, I don't call them silly, but they're considered to be B-movies, right? And it's remarkable because I see this movie start popping up, and it's basically it's kind of like The Punisher.
Yeah.
He gets sick and tired of all the crime and the corruption, and then he goes to the victim and says, did you get justice? And they're like, no. And then he goes and he just massacres people. here's what's scary: how much people love it.
Oh yeah.
What is that sentiment?
Yeah. There's an underlying feeling that people have that isn't being addressed, and that movie kind of hints at it. It says,
scary, dude.
Yeah. And that's why it's done so well, because people feel like justice isn't being done, and they feel like they're second-class citizens in their own country, which they are. We have in Ireland, it's unbelievably shocking how bad it is in Ireland. There's hotels all across the country that are owned by private contractors, and essentially what the government does is it goes to them and says, we will offer you full occupancy at €99 a head. All you have to do is fill it with foreigners.
They do that here too.
Yeah.
In New York.
Yeah.
What's really brutal is Gen Z is struggling right now.
Yeah.
They can't find meaningful work.
Yeah.
They can't afford to buy homes or have families.
Yeah.
At the same time, there's a luxury hotel in New York City in a wealthy neighborhood.
Yeah.
Full of sub-Saharan African migrants, and they get PlayStations. They come in, they get a room.
Yeah.
I mean, these are studio apartments effectively, where you get a bed, you get a TV, cable, internet, you get your own private space, and they got PlayStation and they play video games for free.
Yeah.
For what reason is the question.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's happening to Ireland, it's happening to the United States, it's happening all across Europe. Yeah. It's on purpose.
Yeah.
There is some external force to our countries that has infiltrated or done something to where they can take our public money and the labor we do and give it away to people whose output is zero.
Yeah. It's totally wrong. They're essentially, like in Ireland, we have obviously a cost of living crisis and a housing crisis, and young people find it hard to afford their first home and start a family. They're essentially, the government is that whatever savings they have, whatever they're trying to save, the government is reaching into their pocket, taking it out, handing it to already wealthy people who own these hotels, and say, just house foreigners there and we'll keep taking money off these people.
I was going to ask you why, what's the Irish birth rate? It's low, I'd imagine, right?
I think it's 1.7 or 1.9.
And the funny thing is, the Irish are famous for having lots of kids.
Yeah,
that's the joke in the United States.
Yeah. My father's has 11. 11 children. Yeah.
Wait, you said your father?
Yeah, no, as in my father. He would have had 11 siblings. Well, 10 siblings. Yeah,
yes. Wow.
Yeah. And I'd have 45 cousins on one side.
Do you have a family or anything?
Last week, Erica posted,
I had a dream about shopping for salt.
Riveting. At DreamCloud, we produce better dreams. So let's try this again.
Yeah, they're very inside.
Now that's a dream worth sharing. Dream better dreams on a Dream Cloud.
We need to get rid of Susan Collins. She is the epitome of the establishment politician who serves the donors and serves herself. Who is cynical and duplicitous. Who is willing to say one thing and do another. We have to shed her from our politics. Quite frankly, we have to shed all the people like her. I'm Graham Plattner, and I approve this message.
No family.
What do you like? Obviously, I think the people watching have assumptions about what changed, but I'm curious, in your experience, like what changed for your generation to where you go from 11 kids to not having a family yet, at least.
Yeah. It's. I think it's where Obviously, I think a lot of it is to do with money. We're left with, in Ireland, our generation were left with the debt incurred with the financial crisis in 2008, where essentially our government bailed out private banks in the tune of billions, which is trillions here, you know?
Same thing here.
Yeah, shocking. Like, they decided...
Oh, what tones will you make
give
me
out
sing?
all these loans.
Oh,
had
what
very little risk
tones
awareness.
will your presence
and when
and
everything
energy
came crashing down, a lot of
emit
men
from
ended
me?
up taking their own life after the financial crisis.
Ooh, but the
government
bump and the
decided,
bomb,
you know
shabom,
what,
shabom.
we'll bail out
What's
the
up?
banks. They'll bail out the banks, and the people who owed money still owe
Hopefully.
money.
We're here in
and
Augusta,
we're left
Maine.
with the debt of that. And
Holding
then
on to
I think
hope as
over time
always.
what happens is they come up
And
with
letting it go,
reasons
you know.
to kind of tax.
Oh, it's like a
the
washing
USC
machine
was
cycle
introduced,
every
you know.
day. The
It's
new
the
hopes
first,
that
social
pass
charge.
through.
It was brought.
The
so
jokes,
it was brought
the
in
laughs,
to pay
the
off
thoughts
the
of
debt,
love,
the financial crisis.
peaceful
And,
thoughts,
you know, they said they'll take it away.
comforting
They
thoughts,
never do, you know, and it's just sitting there now.
saddening thoughts. I mean, what makes it sad? What's real? What's
All that,
not?
I think, is just a means to take more money off people.
It's fascinating.
So we're in
how
Augusta,
much
Maine,
describe
as always,
literally
folks.
happened
Ooh,
here
Highway
as
to
well. I'm
Heaven.
sure
You
it
want to
happened
watch Highway to
everywhere
Heaven?
else.
I'm not really in the mood
people,
for that today.
You know, ask me.
I'm more
I
in
just
a
recently,
Quantum Leap kind of mood.
had
You
my
want to watch
first kid, I'm
Quantum
40.
Leap?
And I'm
Nah.
like, listen, when the traditional age
How
in America when a child
about,
is
what do you feel like
about
watching?
22 years old, 22, 24,
I want to watch kind of an older
at that age,
show.
That's when I was
Before the
sleeping when I was
90s.
pregnant.
Before the
Yeah,
90s. I'm in the
22.
mood to watch something.
I was sleeping on floors.
Yeah.
I couldn't get a
From
job.
my very
You
young
know,
days or before.
I have a family.
I was
It
born in
impossible.
82. So.
It's interesting to me that the same mechanisms that were happening here happened there. And so there's two thoughts about it, I suppose. Could it be that greedy
Oh, Mama's
ignorant
Family. That would be a good one. I haven't
were
watched
making
that
so
one in
much
a
money off
while.
of the
It's a funny
system that
show.
propped up bad loans. They didn't care what the long-term effects were going to be,
Mm-hmm.
resulting in this crisis.
It's
And
kind of
the end
annoying and
result
corny.
is
It is, but
financial crisis, economic strain.
what's her name that plays
debt
Mama?
resulting in no population growth.
Who is that
The
again?
government's in panic to patch up this hole, try to bring in as many migrants as possible to do low-skilled labor. Or could be this is the intended condition.
Nah.
The economic
What's his
crisis
name?
in Texas
Carl? No.
on
What,
purpose.
what's her?
Yeah.
What's her
No,
son's
the reason I bring
name?
that up is because
I haven't seen it in a
I
while.
mentioned it earlier, but Malthusianism.
No.
There's a book called The Population Bomb. And in the 70s, a lot of prominent wealthy individuals bought into this ideology that there is a finite amount of human population capable on Earth.
Right.
Which is, I would argue in the simplest of terms, if you're a child, obviously, right? I mean, only so many humans can fit in a building.
Yeah.
The question is, what is the capacity of Earth? How many humans can it maintain? And so these people feared that the generations were exponentially increasing, particularly with new forms of energy, nuclear being a really high return on energy invested, oil, of course, being just tremendous. We look at the Industrial Revolution, particularly with the expansion of oil, population skyrockets. The Earth for a long time was relatively stable in small population growth until the early 1900s. So these wealthy elites are like, we need people to not have kids. We need to retract the population. There's something called the Georgia Guidestones. I imagine you probably never heard of these.
No.
But it's interesting nonetheless. There are these stones that were put
Yeah,
in
on
Georgia.
both of them. Yeah.
And no one knows exactly who did, but it gave instructions on how to run the planet.
Yeah.
And one of them was the population must never surpass 500 million.
Right.
In the planet. On the planet.
Right.
Of 8 billion.
Yeah.
So everyone kind of looks at each other like, so a bunch of wealthy individuals put up these monuments, and they tell you can't have more than 500. Okay, well, there's 8 billion now. What does that mean they're going to do?
Yeah.
So we start seeing in our media, there's a video that goes viral from time to time from a show called Captain Planet.
Okay.
You ever hear Captain Planet?
No.
You're Irish, you know. So I imagine there's a lot of things you didn't hear for here. So the show was, was it 5 teenagers are given magic rings.
All right.
And it's earth, water, fire, wind, and heart, I guess. I don't know, looking at color like I don't know. But they're industrialists.
Hello, everybody.
It was corporate greed.
Eunice is here.
You know, they're
Untalented Eunice.
One bag in
Unwanted Eunice.
caterwauling
Eunice!
When
Monster Eunice is here! Mama, you liar! You traitor! You told me that you thought it would be lovely if I sang "Oh Promise Me" at the wedding.
Well, now, I never said lovely.
You said it was something that the whole family would never forget.
That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know when I've had a better time, but I must be going. For pity's sake, give it a rest. It isn't Ellen's fault you made an ass out of yourself at that pageant.
That's right, Mama. Stand up for Ellen like you always do when the truth of the matter is anybody can play an angel, but it takes real talent to win over an audience playing a little lamb with cotton balls glued to your face.
This way you give up. You have no talent as a child, and as an adult you have even less.
Oh yeah, well I have talent, all right. I have enough talent to keep my husband home at nights, which is more than I can say for you, Sister Dare.
You get this weird amount of lowest common denominator nonsense, and then it's interchangeable with friends.
Ellen, surely you must know that your husband Bruce and his secretary Peggy, well, I think by now they're getting weekly rates at Manny's Midnight Motel.
And you all just stood around letting me believe a lie in my own family.
Well, don't look at me. I told you the truth.
Just love every minute of it, you destructive little beast.
Is everybody happy? I brought him home alive, sort of.
Honey, would you please tell your big mouth sister that she cannot sing at our wedding?
Big mouth sister, you cannot sing at our wedding.
Calling up big mouth bleach blonde bimbo.
Mom, this hair's completely natural.
Oh, I see more natural hair on a dime store dummy.
Oh, I was wondering where you bought your clothes. Oh, right, neither one of you gonna set the fashion world on its ear, so why don't you just knock it off? Listen, the bottom line here is that this is my wedding, and you are not gonna sing.
I have been practicing "Oh Promise Me" for 2 solid weeks, and I promise you that I am gonna sing it.
Well, who is going to accompany you? Because I can promise you it will not be me.
Oh, well, who needs you? An organ grinder makes better music than you do.
That's because he has a better monkey than I do. That is just about enough. This is my house, and I say there ain't gonna be no damn singing.
All I was trying to do was lend this crummy affair some class.
All you ever wanted to do was be the center of attention. Oh, honestly, Eunice, don't you ever give up?
You're just jealous because my husband doesn't run around with other women.
Of course not. Who'd want him?
You take that back.
Damn it, Eunice, I have had enough. You've ruined everybody's evening. Now, why don't you just quit while you're ahead?
Oh, I see. Since I ruined everything, why don't I just not show up tomorrow, huh?
Well, if you're not going to be here, then there's no reason for me to stay away.
Well, then if me not being here means that you are going to be here, then I am going to be here whether I want to or not.
Well, I'm going to be here.
Well, then I will see you.
I'll bet you will. Well, I guess we'll all see everybody. We're just one big happy family.
And you will be without a husband.
I will not.
Oh, promise me that someday when
tomorrow's gonna be a long day.
I think they're putting him in the car here. One of them. If they thwart that they're looking through his property.
Amy Locane, born December 19, 1971, is an American actress known for her roles in various films and television shows. She gained recognition for her performance in John Waters' musical comedy Crybaby and portrayed Sandy Harling in the first season.
From a suspect in Arkansas who rammed a cop on Christmas, and a wintry chase through Minnesota that ended with taser prongs, to a pair of Latvian teenagers who thought they could outrun the police.
Dudes, what the hell you doing here at this